starting these podcasts on too much of a somber beginning. You know what I mean? Too many times we having to have a somber tone to these introductions. Problems in Perth and Cardiff's woes continue in West London. We are 2 games away from a title party. And let's hope, for your sake and everyone connected with Cardiff, that we're not a few games away from a relegation party. Morg, play the intro.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Football Podcast, episode 26 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and joined alongside me, a man who is going to be feeling probably just as somber as I'm feeling right now. But Mayhem, how are you doing, mate?
I'm not sure I'm as somber as you, but that's nothing to do with Celtic.
Yeah, no,
that's
of course.
That's because of a wee bit of sunshine from Leith. That has ultimately put the title 2 wins away. Spectacularly fucked that up in Perth. Otherwise, we'd be talking about next week securing the title in front of Derek McInnes's fucking scrotum-looking face. But yeah, we were fucking shit. And all we've done now is ramped up a piss poor St Johnstone team and given them belief going into the semi-final. So I think there'll be somber notes, but thanks to Martin Boyle and the Hibs for their antics in Govan. Bazball battered, and ultimately we will win the title. And come the end of the season, we could be celebrating a treble. But we've been fucking dog shit since the buy-in game. Really, just not been up to scratch.
Back, it feels like.
But, yeah, just really somber, really poor, just weak, lethargic. And there's a few people I think that it's about time we had a conversation around, and we'll get onto that. But look, I haven't seen anything from Loftus Road or whatever iteration they fucking call it now. They're like Stoke and rename their ground every 20 minutes.
I'm sure it's still Loftus Road. I'm sure it is. Yeah. I don't think they've gone to that degree of renaming their stadium every sponsor they get. Year after year. So no. To be honest, mate, the scoreline spoke for itself. There really wasn't much that took place in that game. It was just a game, 90 minutes full of half chances. I think QPR had more of them than we did. We had one. We go close at the end through Yaku Mate, who heads over from like 4 or 5 yards out. But very very flat performance. Nothing to really rave home about. There's teams around us who are picking up points, and that's what we're not doing at the moment. So, yeah, survival's looking bleak, I must say.
I don't know, because like I said, I wasn't watching the game. I finished work and flicked it on, and I see a point, and I thought, it's a shit point.
It is.
And then I realised that Derby got beat, and I wonder, in context, is it as bad a point? Really, you're back now within a point. Now the goal difference is a problem in it, because that's basically another point to Derby. So really, they're like 2 points away. But that is only one win. Now there are some tricky games. Obviously, we've spoken about the likes of Sheffield United, but Oxford showed. Yeah. They're not all conquering.
No, I know, but this is Omar Reza's Cardiff City we're talking about.
What is it about the Championship, right? And I know that we're doing things back to front, but Stu's maybe shat himself, so we don't have anything to deflect this week.
Shat himself.
He shits when he wants. Little Jason Punchant reference in there, if you know.
You know.
So we do things a little bit back to front here. What is it with the Championship, right? And especially Leeds, when it gets towards the back end of the season when no one wants to get promoted. Obviously, Burnley have won and they've put themselves now in pole position. But Leeds draw, as they so often do in the months of April and May. find themselves in a playoff that they're undoubtedly fuck up.
Yeah, it's a familiar characteristic there with Leeds.
And then Sheffield go away to Oxford and chuck it in, get beat 1-0, don't even score a goal. It's such a strange... Like, teams are formidable, absolutely formidable. And then along comes a bit of sunshine and spring's just around the corner and they shit themselves.
Yeah, I don't get it, but like it's something that we're not unfamiliar with. Like it happens all the time with these teams. I don't know whether it's then again. I mean, I know Sheffield United are in that bracket where they can't really be chased down. Like I feel there's a big gap between Sheffield and like
Sunderland,
Sunderland, Coventry, West Brom.
I think at the moment it's Sunderland, Borough.
Oh, Borough up there now.
Yeah, they're 5th, I think. And it isn't Coventry anymore because they got beat, didn't they, by
Sheffield.
West Brom, I think, was it?
Was it West Brom that beat them?
Yeah, because Sheffield got beat by Oxford.
Let's have a look. No, Burnley, that's it.
Yeah, Burnley are top, but who's 6th?
And then 6th place, we have Bristol City now.
Oh yeah, that was
so Coventry and West Brom have both dropped out of the playoff.
Bristol City snuck in. Yeah, that was the other one. I knew it was a random team. Imagine that Tim Pot fucking club actually getting to the... That's ridiculous. But it's a strange phenomenon. Obviously, the top 3 are broken away. 2 of those 3 will be promoted. There's no way that Borough or Sunderland or anyone chase them down. The gap's just far too big. But there is this strange sort of happenings that coming into April and then May where, you know, on paper, you look at Leeds and Sheffield United and Burnley and you expect them to just roll off win after win, but there's strange results, and especially with Leeds. I mean, they can't buy a win.
No. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably more the case of they're going against sides who are battling for their lives for survival, but it's just become far too familiar with Leeds, where they just...
And people can say, oh, it's the carrot. They can see the carrot being dangled. But it's not like these teams haven't been in the Premier League. It's not like they've been away for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, so they've all in recent times been in the Premiership and experienced it. So it shouldn't be this daunting to see.
Yeah.
It's not a Luton scenario where, oh my God, or an Ipswich. You know what I mean? Like, how long has it been since we've been there? But it does seem strange. And again, yeah, with Leeds, they always seem to be fantastic, and it comes into this and they end up in a playoff. And yeah, no doubt I think they would comfortably come through a semi-final. But it's that one-off game at Wembley where they are just shit.
I don't like it at all. And that is where the golden carrot dangles, and they just can't reach it.
I mean,
yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that Leeds United this season are a better team than what Southampton are. Like, Leeds United would have more points in the Premier League than what Southampton have got at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And that was who they got beat out by. You know what I mean? In the last playoff final,
yeah.
Such a strange phenomenon that seems to surround that football club.
Yeah, no, it's strange. But despite that, I mean, Leeds still find themselves up there comfortably, where they're battling out for automatic places, and I mean, 6 games to go now. It's getting tight from both ends of the table.
100%. Yeah, everything tightens up. And like I said, I know that you would have been wanting to pick up a victory, obviously, at Loftus Road, but in context with Derby losing and it tightens everything up again, you just need to find points. You know what I mean, this is it. You're coming into this clutch time. Derby will find points, like the way that John Eustace has got them going. They will. I think Hull won at the weekend as well. I think they were away at Sheff Wednesday, so that then kicks them a little bit further towards safety. So really, it feels sort of like a four-way split now. And can you be the one that survives between yourselves, Plymouth, Derby, and whoever is second bottom. I can't even remember now.
Plymouth, I believe, or are they rock bottom?
I think they're rock bottom.
Who's rock bottom? It's not no, Portsmouth have come out there a long time ago. No, it's Luton. Yeah. Luton.
Oh, Luton, yeah, Luton are still down there, aren't they? So, yeah, Plymouth obviously beating Norwich as well. Every time you think Plymouth are gone, they seem to find a result.
But this is it. I mean, you see these teams who are, fighting for their lives to stay up, and they're coming out with victories. Like the problem with Cardiff at the moment, and I can go over individuals. I can talk about Omarisa. We just don't look like a side who know how to win a game. Full stop. Despite whether you look at them on paper, and I did feel, on another day, we could beat QPR. On another day, I feel like looking on paper, we can beat Preston away, who we face tomorrow night. Home to Stoke on Saturday. Like, these are winnable games, but the problem is we just don't know how to put the ball in the back of the net and see out an actual lead to give us the 3 points that we ever so need right now. We need to pick up victories. Like Gondor turned around to me earlier today and was just like, it's not a bad point. I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, we need wins on the board, and that's what's going to ultimately, that's going to be the deciding factor of whether we stay up or go down. And right now, I don't see us winning any of these remaining 6 games. I really don't, regardless of who they're against.
Yeah, Preston's a strange one, and you never quite know what you're going to get with Preston. They could be superb. They could be utter dog shit. Hopefully the latter, because then that obviously gives you a great chance. And then, Stoke feels big.
Stoke's a huge one, 100%. But you know what? I've lost all sense of hope and confidence ever since that Luton defeat at home. I've approached every single game and had that numb feeling when you just watch a game of football and you're just like, why do I fucking bother? That's just what it feels like, and I watch this game and I'm just anticipating the worst case outcome. So but on paper it's still realistic, but ultimately we just got to show up on the actual day, and when the first whistle blows, that's when we got to take care of business. But we got to do it though. We got that's what I mean. Like I just think Omarisa should just throw the kitchen sink out. Like, go 2 up top, Salic, Robbo, Isaac on the left, Alves on the right. Like, just go full throttle at these teams.
Yeah, at least then. Well, do something different. I mean, you're drawing games now. As much as I've said, it's not a bad point. A point doesn't really help you, because if Derby win, then you're still losing ground to draws at this stage of the season. Albeit, if they're away from home, I would still look at it as a decent point, but they don't really help you much now.
No, and I know. It's just, like I said, it just feels really, really numb at the moment to just sit there and watch 90 minutes of Cardiff play. It feels like I feel so detached at the moment emotionally, because I fear the worst. And we say this every week. All comes down to the owner and the board through poor decisions, and complete and utter mismanagement of running the club as a whole.
Yeah, so the admin and the hierarchy of Cardiff City Football Club is a bleak prospect to get into, as well as the bleakness of the league and the possibility of League One football. The people in charge of that football club, as we've said many times before, they're just grey, aren't they? They're just dull, grey, uninterested, don't give a shit, put out pointless fucking statements, fuck it up the first time, have to put another one out.
Yeah.
It is incompetence at its absolute peak, and then you get it's the club and the fans ultimately that suffer, and it's been on a downward trajectory from obviously the start of the season, where whatever Errol Bullitt had built evaporated over the space of a summer, and you were rock bottom and trying to fight your way out of that problem that had been built from there. And yeah, it's a few massive games. If Omar Risa keeps you up, you need to go out and find a manager. You need to go out.
100%. That's the first bit of business that needs to be done. Just get him. You know, I mean, if they wanted to keep him at the club as part of the coaching staff, no problem. But he's just not a first team manager, especially for this level.
Yeah, need to go and secure. You know, certainly the guy that's going to be in charge for the next 12 months, because who knows how long you get at Cardiff these days. But there needs to be some real thought put into who's coming in and what the ideology of the club is, and what they want to focus on, and how they want to grow the football club. Because again, in recent times, you're playing Premier League football, and the horrific prospect of fucking Charlton away is on the horizon.
It really is, and it feels like many moons ago when we last played Charlton.
It was, because they're that shit. They've been down there that long.
Fucking hell. Well, I mean, the way it's going, I can see us, following them along. Like, I feel like, if we go down to League One, I don't see us coming back up anytime soon.
The problem with League One is once you get down there, mate, like unless you do a Birmingham, which is not going to do, it's a tough league to get out of, because you have teams that know the division really, really well. You'll obviously be dropping down. You'll be relegated with Luton. You'll be relegated with Plymouth that are previous champions. So only two teams can go up.
Yep.
You've got Luton that were in the Premier League last season, and you imagine there'll be a rebuild and a little bit of money spent there. So that's potentially two places. You've Wickham that are always up near the top now and recently been in the Championship. Then you drop down and you get the likes of Barnsley, Huddersfield, Charlton, Peterborough, even though they're having a shit season this year. And all of a sudden you start to realise actually it's not as easy to bounce back. And that's why so many teams get locked in League One. And there's every chance you may have a little Welsh star, because Wrexham could or may. They may go up, they may fuck it up, who knows? But there's a lot of teams now in there that are, not big teams in the sense of huge, like you were talking obviously at Liverpool and that, but they're big teams for that division. The likes of Huddersfield and Barnsley, and these are historically
as well.
Historically Championship, recent history Premier League clubs. So all of a sudden you get locked in there, and it becomes a real difficult place to bounce straight back from. So it's imperative you stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if we did go down, hypothetically, if Tan wanted to sell up, there ain't going to be more eyes looking at League One over the Championship.
No, not at all. Like, so, yeah, let's just hope that Omar Risa can pull out a couple of real strong performances against the likes of Preston and Stoke, and you start to propel yourself away from danger and the end of the season. Let's hope that the last day of the season is completely boring, because you can't do anything.
Exactly. Just throw the kids out and just know that we live to
have
another day in the Championship.
Big fucking protest about that content.
I've seen that come to raised up over on social media, where they are planning a second protest, like regardless of what the outcome is come the end of the season.
Yeah, like, just get out of the club. And again, it's probably boring to listen to because I've said it so many times, but just go. What are you waiting for? The team is in disarray. You're not employing the right people. You're nowhere near the Premier League anymore. So the financial gain, it's draining running a football club anyway, right? So there's no financial gain from this. So why are you here? Just fuck off.
Exactly. Imagine having to go in every single day and realise that there is a huge population of people that fucking hate you.
I know. Him and Sheffield Wednesday's owner can have a nice meal together and discuss it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, it's a matter of wait and see who turns up on the night and if they can get us out of trouble. But like I said, I don't feel hopeful at the moment, but it's all I can be really. Yeah, but let's go back. Like you said, we've gone back to front here. Let's move on over up north. Things didn't go to plan at Perth.
No, not
I watched the highlights, and of course they take the lead, but then there were just multiple opportunities where Celtic just failed to capitalise on them, and there's so many factors to that result. Obviously you look at it on paper, like Celtic losing to St Johnstone, who are bottom of the table. I think the bigger one that stands out for me was just failing to capitalise on Rangers' defeat against Hibs more than anything.
The league is done, right? I think that's a problem of trying to keep these players motivated. Nicholas Kuhn's had a massive drop off, huge drop off, for some reason. But we just look flat. We just look really, really flat. Arnie Engels, I've tried to defend him, but the last wee while, I do think he played well against Bayern. I thought he had a really good game against Bayern Munich. But yeah, I think from then you'd struggle. And he's had decent games, and he's at home and he has a decent game, and he gets man of the match. And I think we're fucking falling ourselves a wee bit. Paid 11 million for this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And I know that he's coming in and he's having to learn a new role, and he's kind of coming in filling that Matt O'Reilly role, and that wasn't really what he was doing at Augsburg. And look, next season, I may be sitting here with egg on my face, and Brendan has the summer and crafts him, and he comes back firing. But at the moment, 11 million. I'd be lucky if I pay fucking 4 million for him at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You almost feel like he needs to have that same transition that Maeda did from last season into this one.
I mean, I think there's every argument that Luke McCowan has had as good a season as him, and Luke McCowan has played far less minutes, cost us £1 million, come from Dundee, and this guy is our record signing. And if you take away the penalties, how many meaningful contributions has he had? And he had a chance early on in this game. He drilled it straight at the keeper, and again, we're done with it was a really good delivery for their goal, but yeah, we were flat, man. There wasn't. It was a testing performance to watch, and especially with the connotations around the game. We could go one game away from winning the title, and it was really, really poor. And I just think there's too many people at the club at the moment that just take a safe option. Too many times Arnie Engels takes a safe option and passes back, or Jeffrey Schlupp thinks he's still playing for Crystal Palace. And I mean no offence by that to any Crystal Palace fans. Right? I mean absolutely no offence, but it might be acceptable at Crystal Palace when you're up against, like if he was playing Brighton on this weekend, it might be acceptable to just cut back in and play the safe ball and retain possession. But that's not here, and there's levels to it, and it's the English Premier League, and right. But there's a level of expectation of what you need to do, right? Greg Taylor has held that position down, and the reason that he's seen off so many people and will now leave the football club, we've allowed this guy to leave the football club. He's going to leave on a free, right? But he understood the expectation, would take the game by the scruff of the neck, and too many times it just felt that Schlupp wasn't quite where he needed to be. It looked very disjointed in the first half. I'm not Austin Trusty's biggest fan, and again, I've tried to give him time. I don't think he's a massive upgrade on Scales, and we paid $6 million for him. I don't really think you notice any difference, really. I think Liam Scales has been harshly treated. I mean, I know that he's obviously taken a knock and unavailable at them, but harshly treated in regards to Trusty starting so many games. I don't think there's much between them. obviously in the summer we'll get KT back, but we'll need someone to back him up. That guy can't play an entirety of a season. He just doesn't have the skeletal structure to support
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
So we're going to need someone there, and yeah, the fact that we've allowed someone like Greg Taylor to leave, and he does come under harsh criticism, and he is criticised a lot. But fair play to him. He's completed Scottish football, and he could be bowing out on a treble, but we're going to need someone in there. Hatate just looks. I don't want to say looks disinterested, but he looks like half the player that we've had here for the last couple of seasons. So I imagine he'll go. And it's a worry. We see the drop off when Callum McGregor was out of the team. He come back in and didn't really lift it. There wasn't this massive pop. And obviously we see that last week, and he played all right, and we won comfortably. But there wasn't this big pop when we were against St Johnstone there, and we needed someone to really take the game by the scruff. And I thought Jota was quiet-ish. He was trying to do bits, but it just felt so disjointed.
It's hard to draw positives, really, isn't it, from that
performance? Yeah. And the subs, it was just lackluster. And like I said, all we've really done is now, we've given St Johnstone great belief going into the semi-final that they can, spring an upset and get into, again, it'll be a cup final without a Glasgow team in it. So why wouldn't they fancy their chances taking on either Hearts or Aberdeen? And with a massive game, coming up next week, at home to Kilmarnock, and then we go into the split, and you'd love the league to just be done and dusted before we get into the split. But ultimately, if we can get over that, then with the semi-final, then the split starts, and we just need one win to secure it. So I'm confident enough that it'll be done pretty quickly, hopefully. But yeah, just really poor. And like I said, it would, if it wasn't for Hibs going and putting on a fantastic display, and Martin Boyle getting to cup his ears while he runs around at Ibrox, then
it was a nice sight to see, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, let's hope that the nice sights continue. Athletic Bilbao hopefully rock up and batter them, and that shatters any European dreams that they've got going on in their head, and then we can kick on and hopefully land a treble. We can kind of put this season behind us, but it just seems a little bit. It's a little bit irking that we've gone and spent the money that we've spent, and yes, we've got Jota, and we're happy about that. I think Luke McCowan's been good business, but I think the jury's still out on Engels. I'm not sure that Trusty's that. Schlupp is a C plus, maybe. He's okay. He's okay, but nothing quite the way that some people were talking about him before. Like, get this guy a contract. No, do not offer this guy.
No.
Not a prayer.
You'd be happy to see the back of him in the end of the season.
Not in a bad way, but if this is what we're seeing now, what is he, 33? Don't go and offer this guy.
No, Christ.
32, 33, I think. Don't go and offer this guy a 2-year contract, because what's the drop off like next season and the season after? So look, he's come in, he's done his job. He'll pick up a couple of, well, at least one winners' medal in the league, and then have the potential to pick up a winners' medal in the League Cup, the Scottish Cup. Sorry. So fair play, but allow him to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But no, I don't know. It feels like there's a strong sense of complacency in the league at the moment, and I feel Brendan Rodgers needs to spark that insertion of a
100%. I also think Brendan needs to win at Ibrox as well. The last
Rangers don't like winning at Ibrox at the moment, so it shouldn't be too hard.
But I mean, the last two we were absolutely scalped the last time we went there.
Yeah.
We fucked up at home after coming back from 2 down, and they barely had a kick in the second half, and we've let them beat us. So I think Brendan needs the result. Now, hopefully, by the time we get there, the league is done, dusted, and dead, and it's an absolute dead rubber. But I think Brendan needs to win there. First time we'll have fans back in a long time, and I think we need to go there and just for Brendan to kind of put this hoodoo to bed, because in the League Cup final we went to penalties. We weren't great. We then got absolutely scalped off them at their place. We then lost to them at home. I think he does need to go and put a team out and deliver a performance that really stamps our authority on this league. Yeah. Even though obviously we'll go there and we'll be champions, but I think it's weird because you could win a treble and if we lose that game, you could almost think this has been a bit of a weird season. This has been a bit of a strange season where we're going to win a treble when we've only beaten them once and they've beaten us 3 times. Like it could leave a bit of a sour taste. So I think that game's massive for him.
Yeah, 100%. I think he really needs to reassure what those standards are of the football club and what they stand for. And you know what, hearing that statistic, winning 1 in 4 of the the encounters you've had with Rangers, Jesus Christ, like it does leave a sour taste, like you said. And so I think he needs to really drill into the players again that it's not all over, and a win is much needed when Rangers come around next during the split, and then especially going into the semi-final against St Johnstone when the Scottish Cup comes around again.
Yeah, this is why our league's just a little bit strange. I saw someone talking about it recently, and that the Scottish league format needs an overhaul. I think half the problem is that a lot of teams want to protect playing Celtic and Rangers at least 3 times a season and the gate receipts that brings. But I think a bigger league would be far better.
Yeah. Would you welcome any Welsh teams in there?
What?
I'm joking. I just feel there's a better opportunity of us staying up in the bloody Scottish Prem than there is in the Championship at the moment.
Probably.
Maybe,
but,
who knows?
Yeah, I'd be all for a bigger league. I don't think it will happen. Like I said, I think teams protect that gate receipt that they get from the 2 Glasgow clubs. But we've had this for a while now, this split, and it's a bit shit.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's weird with these splits as well, because even though there may be teams below could finish on higher points than whoever is in 4th or 5th, it's really bizarre.
It is weird,
like what difference does that make? Absolutely none. You finished top of the bottom 6. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange. Well, we know someone. A team that I wanted to bring up is, they're quite a talk of the town at the moment, and all for the wrong reasons. I don't think it will happen, but what are your thoughts on Southampton right now? As things stand, they confirmed their relegation from the Premier League.
Oh yeah, well that's been confirmed for a long time. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, officially confirmed this past weekend. They currently sit on 10 points, and we know the team who have the record of accumulating the lowest points tally is Derby County back in, I think it was 2008, I think it was. Something like that. Ivan Juric was dismissed as well, earlier today as well. Do we see Southampton breaking that record, or will they pull away? That's really all they got to fight for, it feels like.
Well, 100%. You don't want to go down as the worst team ever, do you? Who do they have? Well, I think the big one is away to Leicester.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the rest, Villa at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Leicester away, City at home, Everton away, and then Arsenal at home. And I think that Everton away one could potentially be the last ever game at Goodison. No, I'm wrong. Oh no, I'm right. Sorry. Yeah. So it's showing me fixtures for Premier League Summer Series. Who gives a fuck? So yeah, that Southampton game will be the last ever game at Goodison. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely white hot. So I can't see them getting anything there. Doubt they'll get anything from City or Arsenal because they're rancid. Villa, so Villa no, Fulham no. So really, their opportunity, I think, is West Ham and Leicester, and it could all boil down to that Leicester game. But yeah, the three teams that have come up are ultimately going to be the three teams that go down again.
Yeah.
Ipswich, again, they all but confirm their relegation by getting beaten by Wolves on the weekend as well. So same old, same old. You come up, enjoy the Premier League for one season, you crash back down.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet feeling. You know, you enjoy the promotion party, and then when you're up there for 38 games, like you know what's coming, and it's like, okay, here we are, like back in the Championship again.
Yeah. I think that they've got to get something going because we've seen with Luton, if you do go down, you can go down hard, and all of a sudden you can find yourself in real problems. They've got to find something and get the right person in and make sure that they go through the motions correctly, and so that they're fighting at the top end of the Championship next season. But they've been poor. They've not even looked, remotely like they're in most games. I mean, Tottenham couldn't buy a fucking win and just roll them over. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That tells you everything you need to know. I don't know if Ange Postecoglou cupped his ears at all when Tottenham won 3-1.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Oh God, did you hear his post interview after that Chelsea game?
No.
Oh, mate. I think he's just going to crack one day. Like, I'm surprised he has just not gone and swung to the journalist. Like, because I think that guy's running out of patience. Obviously, the fans are running out of patience.
Well, I guess if he doesn't win the Europa League, I think he'll be
gone.
The duty. Yeah, I think that's the only way he stays in his job. And that's just because football's fickle, you know what I mean? And if he was to deliver a trophy for Spurs, they would forget all about this season and it would go down as one of their best in recent history.
Fucking bloody hell.
So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, they're in action Thursday night. I think they play Frankfurt, in the Europa League.
Frankfurt, okay.
I think that's who they play. We can fact check that, since as we don't have Stu here.
Yeah, I know.
Who would be?
He's still dropping the kids off as we speak, probably. Right, so Thursday, 10th of April, they are playing Frankfurt.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you look at the other teams that are left in it, if they get past Frankfurt, they play either Lazio or Bodo Glimt. Rangers or
in the quarterfinals. Christ.
Rangers or Athletic Bilbao, and then Lyon, Man United. So the fact that either Lyon or Man United are going to go out, they've got to be massive. One of the biggest favourites, and if they can get past Frankfurt, who are obviously a decent team, and won't go down easy. I think they're third in the Bundesliga or something, but they have lost obviously Mamouche and their talisman. So if they can get past that, then obviously that gives them a great opportunity of at least getting to a final.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity, but no, like you said, it's Ange's last opportunity of any possibility of winning some silverware.
Yeah, it'll be a tough game in Germany. I think I can see him getting a result at home, and then can they see it out in Germany? Who knows? I get the feeling that Lyon will beat United.
Yeah, that's free for them.
They're not the Lyon, but yeah, I just get a feeling that Lyon will beat them. Especially after watching the last 20 minutes of the Manchester derby on Sunday. I mean, that was just piss poor.
I'm glad I didn't watch that game. Really didn't.
So Yeah, I mean, if you're going into the semi-finals, and let's say Lazio beat Bodo Glint, let's see Bilbao beat that lot, and you're looking at that as a semi-final lineup: Leon, Bodo Glint, Lazio, Athletic Bilbao, Leon. You've got to fancy it, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if there is a surprise either way, and Rangers were to get through or Bodo Glint were to get, I mean, it just makes the quarterfinals even more, the semi-finals even more favourable, doesn't it?
Yeah. I see. Yeah, Frankfurt amongst the other teams, I would say, are arguably the toughest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably either them or Lazio, maybe.
I don't know where Lazio are in Syria, but I'd imagine, yeah, they would probably say Frankfurt and United are probably their two biggest obstacles, and if they can get past them, if they can get past Frankfurt, then yeah, I think they've got a massive opportunity to finally break that debt. But it would be the most Spurs thing in the world to get to a semi-final, get Bodo Glint, and get knocked out. Like that would be the most Spurs thing in the world.
Christ, can you imagine? Bloody hell!
I think that the final was actually in Athletic Bilbao Stadium, so that adds another nuance to it as well. Like if Athletic Bilbao get to the final, and on paper you would fancy Spurs, but all of a sudden it's in their home stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, yeah, it goes all to shit. So yeah, no, I mean, it's a shame that we didn't have Gondor for tonight because Djurgården are in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Conference League, and they're against Austrian opposition in SK Rapid. They also won on the weekend. Djurgården, they won by a goal to nil against IK Sirius. I imagine IK Sirius are going to struggle for goals this season without a familiar face in Yusuf Salik.
Well, you could start fucking scoring some more for yous then.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. But let's make that big transition over to Football Manager, mate. No, obviously we wrapped up our seasons last week, and we underwent the summer transfer window and played our first 5 games. So obviously there was a lot of wheeling and dealing to do for all of us, and of course we've kept each other up to date as the week has gone on. But let's share everything. Like what business did you manage to conduct, Mayhem, and how did your first opening 5 games go?
Well, let me have a look. So yes, obviously, I had to first of all I had to sell your man whose name I can't fucking.
Oh, Kazayev, what his name was.
Yeah. So
how much did you get for him, by the way?
I think I ended up getting 2.5 million for him.
Oh, okay.
Potentially rising. There was some deals in. I believe in the end he went to Turkey.
Turkey.
Turned down Norwich City to join Galatasaray, I believe, or Fenerbahce. One of those two. Sorry for getting yours mixed up. I know you don't like each other a lot, and I apologise. But I can't remember. But I just remember
thinking. You got the country correct.
I just think maybe in Turkey. It's a strange place to go, but anyway. So he went. So obviously, I needed to replace him. My wingers had left as they were both on loan. So there was Jojo that was on loan from Parma, and I sold as well Casimir. So he went to Newcastle for 4 million.
Okay.
He was one of these ones that was wanted to explore his options in the last year of his contract, and 5-star potential, and I would love to have kept him around, but ultimately,
when Newcastle come knocking, especially.
Yeah, and there was clubs bidding 1 million, and obviously they've found a way to get around PSR because they just decided to drop 4 million on my lap, and I said, "Yep, happy days, see you later."
Yeah.
I also got rid of the Spanish striker that I'd brought in, Mari or Marty. He went for 900,000 again. Just needed him out of the club. Was complaining about not playing enough football, and we'll score more goals then. So first two bits of business that I did was signed a man. I think that's very close to your own heart. Jordan James, got him on loan, but with a future optional fee of £3 million, which
crazy that is.
Having a look at the start of the season and these performances, I will be enacting that that 100%. I'd also, like I said, I'd signed Ben Doak on loan and I'd signed Abdullah Sima. Abdullah Sima has been a revelation. Ben Doak apparently doesn't have fucking lungs because can barely run for 60 minutes. And then, obviously, at this point, Casimir had gone and Kresikov, or whatever his name had gone. So I needed a striker. I couldn't really find one that fitted the role. I wanted someone that was tall, that was athletic, that could score me goals, obviously, as everybody does. Adam Eder popped up, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to back my boy.
Yes.
So he is in as a record signing. I think in the end, I paid about $4.5 million for him. So he's in, doing okay, not as well as I might have hoped, but he's come in. He's doing all right. And then, as I'm trying to recount the signings, signed Joe Rebo. That was for next to nothing. I seem to be doing the fucking Rangers fucking on tour here. But Joe Rebo comes in. He was very cheap. And he's just squad debt. Anthony Rault, which is a centre back. He's on loan as well from Rennes. Fucking raided the fuck out of Rennes. And Tommy Doyle is in again on loan because
great piece of I love Tommy Doyle on the game.
So he's in from Wolves on loan, and I think that was pretty much everyone. So that was that was 5 and then 7, including the two wingers, but obviously there was replacements in there. So that's my business done. First 5 games started at home to Lyon.
Tough start.
Yeah, it was 2-0 down in 10 minutes and thought, here we go, fucking relegation party all over again, and just had that vacant memory of the first 5 games from last season and not picking up a point. Incredibly, we recovered to win 4-3. So,
wow.
Yeah, happy days. And then we played Dunkerque. I'm sure you pronounce that better in French somehow. They were promoted last season and conceded a very late goal there to draw 2-2. We was then away to Brest, who I still can't ever fucking beat, and we got beat 1-0. We played Rennes at home. We won that 4-2. Adam Eder scored his first goal, which was nice. And then we played RC Lens away from home. And after putting in a very good performance, dominating the ball, having a lot more shots, XG, we were absolutely mugged for a draw. So 5 games in, 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss that had us sitting pretty, to be honest. I think we were 5th.
5th in the table.
Yeah, so 8 points. 5th in the table. I doubt very much that will continue because on the horizon there is Marseille, there is PSG, there is Monaco. So there are some difficult games afoot, but a much more positive start to the second season. And I'm hoping to just be mid-table, consolidate, and probably succumbing to you guys playing in Europe and the budget's probably having to deal with a forfeit come the end of the season. But I think in and around 10th again is another decent season for us.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a strong start by all means. Really good start. And some really good business as well. I mean, Jordan James on loan then for a future fee of 3 million is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But certainly a bit of a sentimental signing in Adamida. Then, of course, across the board, there's been some shrewd piece of business that you've managed to construct there. So really good start.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, obviously Gondor isn't here, and so I have no idea how his first 5 games went. Can't really remember off the top of my head what business he's done, but obviously he's done a fair bit. And so, yeah, no, I was busy in the transfer market. I think in total I made 7 signings, but made 2 sales. So the first signing that I made, and I just felt because I needed to do it, because I got so annoyed with my keeper towards the end of last season. So I went into the market for a new goalkeeper, and I landed on a Croatian goalkeeper named Nikola Kavlina. His report states that he's a 3.5 star current ability with 4.5 star potential, only at the age of 22. So bit of a big boy as well, 193 centimeters. Pretty sure that's around 6'4" in feet. And so he came in for a fee of 3.5 million. Next was kind of like a replacement because I'd lost Virginius, who had returned to his parent club of Lille. So I'd need to bring in a right winger. Thankfully, my board allowed me to have a world scouting pool, and that obviously includes South America. Lo and behold, a nice 20-year-old Uruguayan winger comes up in the name of Anderson Duarte. He was 2.5 star current ability with 5 star potential, and was only available for a fee of 1.8 million. I really didn't expect his value to completely shoot up after I signed him, because it shot up to 25-30 million, and it did look bad in the screenshots, because I'm like, no, I don't have that money, I promise, I really don't. It was 1.8 million. So yeah, Duarte came in. Who did I pull off next? I went into the free agent market because I was obviously, I still had to. I was in need of a striker, but I also wanted to, be very strict with the budget that I was given, and so I pulled off 2 free signings in Cameron Burgess of Ipswich. He didn't get his contract renewed, so he came in on a free, and then I signed a left back, Bosnian Emir Karic, on a free. I thought he was going to be a replacement because my first choice left back has been wanting to be out the door since the start of last season, but he's still on my books and has not left. So Emir Karic counted as a signing. And then after that, again, just scouring the market, and I landed on a striker who was on loan at some Belgian club, but his parent club are based in Thailand. But he had 14 finishing, 14 composure, was available for 1.1 million. And so I took a punt on him. I'm going to absolutely butcher the pronunciation of his name. Sifana Muyanta, 21 years old, Thai striker. Some of his stats just really appealed to me, and just thought, 3-star, 4-star potential. Thought, you know what, you'll do. And I've still got a bit of a budget to play about with. But and I was in dire need of a left winger. With this left winger, I needed to make a sale, and thankfully one of my centre-backs who I didn't really enjoy having on my books last season, thankfully Genoa came in with an offer of 5.25 million, so he freed up a space for me to make another signing, and that managed to allow me to bring in Theo Lebris from Lorient. So a French international as well, so I didn't have to worry about any non-EU signings and, with all those stipulations and stuff. Then I offloaded one of my other keepers. It was one who just never made an appearance at all. And Wolves came in for him, which was really weird. Only got a 450k, and so I, with that, managed to bring in midfielder Noah Lombardi. So he came in for a fee of 3.3, and then my final signing, again just to boost the numbers in midfield, was a midfielder from Santos. If I can find him, I believe he's Venezuelan. Here he is, Nicola Profeta. Not like an outstanding signing. He's only 2-star current potential, but he's got 5-star potential, and so he's going to be one that's going to be more of a project, and will be. I'm sure he'll make a lot of appearances off the bench, and so that's the business I managed to construct. And then we started off our campaign away to Lon, and of course I had to change the formation. It was no more 4-2-3-1, and so I went with the 4-1-2-2-1. So it's kind of like a 4-5-1. It's like a triangle in the middle, 2 wingers and a striker with a holding mid. And so yeah, no, I played that, never used it before, lost 1-0 on the opening day, and then came against Angers at home, where I won 4-0, and then I had to come away from it because I was under the weather last week. I came down with a cold, so I just came home and just wanted to relax and sleep, essentially. But I had a little talk with Gondor, asking him about his experience with this formation. I know he's used it before, and what I was noticing was that I was not creating enough highlights, enough chances going forward. I felt, I had a defence mid on support, ball winning Mazzala, and he was like, "Have you tried box to box?" I was, not really. Like, I need someone to be there to break up play. But then thinking, well, I could just make my defensive midfielder be that individual, and then have a box to box player, move the Mazzala into attack role. And what a world of difference it made. We went away to Rennes, and my box-to-box midfielder managed to provide 3 assists in a 5-2 victory. So, thank you, Gondor. Cheers, mate. Thank you. And then we had Nice at home. We won by 3-1. And then to wrap up the first 5 games, we had a 2-1 victory over Brest. With that being said, the league obviously looks really nice at the moment. We are sat 4th in the table as things stand, but we played a game less than the top 3 in Nice, who are actually top at the moment. PSG have lost a game already, which is wild. So yeah, Nice top, then PSG, and then Monaco, and then Clermont. Won't stay like that. Obviously, it's only 5 games, so early days, and so yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what unfolds as the season goes on. Bit of a novel. Sorry for that, but
that's all right. We're missing one person anyway, so it could be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
There was. So obviously we're doing this, but my question here is, what is the overarching ambition? What is it to win the league? And if someone does that, then they've won.
It's a good question. Like, I mean, especially where it's the French league, and PSG is just always a fucking shithouse team to overcome. We could make that the challenge, or we can. I mean, we'll do this season and then maybe test the waters in a different league where it's like a similar challenge. But
yeah, we could.
Actually, I've got an idea. Maybe we could do this. Like, what we could do, we could chalk off like Europe as so we go back to the wheel, and then we can only the wheel can only land on like South America, North America, Asia, Africa. But it can't be Europe now. So It feels like we're doing like a world tour in a way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we could. Obviously, we'll have to speak it through. Gondor. I was thinking about either we say we want to win this league, or at the end of this season we resign, and then we see what jobs come in, and we kind of venture off to see if, and then we make it as in who can win the Champions League first.
I like that. I like that.
We're in Europe. We've done our two. We've done our two in League On, and then. But I think you should only be able. So say you're unemployed. There's, I don't know. You go and there's like maybe Real Sociedad, Borussia Dortmund, and Liverpool. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So but you can apply for 3 jobs.
Okay.
But you can only you only have 2. You can only reject 2. So if you say no, if you say that you apply for a Liverpool job, they interview you, and then you turn down Borussia Dortmund and you turn down whoever else, and then before Liverpool come in to offer you, all of a sudden, Genoa offer you a job. You have to take. You can only reject 2 clubs.
Okay.
Or maybe we put a stipulation on that you can't go too big, so there's still a project. So maybe we veto, right? You can't be Man City, you can't be Liverpool, you can't be Real Madrid, you can't be Barcelona.
It's got to be like it's near enough what we've been doing at the moment, like someone who is like mid-table, bottom half.
Yeah, and I think we should all agree, right? So when we resign, we say this is a job offer.
Yeah.
And obviously, then we wait and we go right. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Because there'll be some teams on the precipice, and anything to get away from Le Havre, dear Lord.
Well, it'll be interesting as well because it will still be the same save file.
Yeah.
In which then as we go on, like you'll have all these like regens come through and everything, which will be interesting to see. But no, I'd like that. So if someone like Werder Bremen came up,
yeah,
you could take them, or if you're in Italy and you could take over like Genoa or like Como or someone.
I think I'll have to turn on a few more leagues. I think I've got a few just set to view only. I'll have to flick a few leagues on to be playable. But yeah, that's an idea.
Yeah.
But obviously we don't have all members of the litigation. So we would have to get a unanimous decision as to what comes next. And then eventually, I think once, obviously, if we keep this segment, once we get the new FM, whenever that may be, hopefully October time.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think we just all start unemployed, and we just go from there, and we agree, right? We're going to load up this league, this league.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Just so long, because I don't even think. Not that I don't think it would work because I think we all play the game at different times, but I don't even think you can do network saves on.
No, apparently they were they were going to remove it with FM25, which is honestly like mind blowing, to be honest.
So, I think, I don't think there's really a sort of argument to do a network save because I think we're all probably playing at different points and it'd be hard to sort of.
Yeah, it'd be difficult with a network save. It would. So it'll probably have to be the same routine of where we just play our own separate saves and then come back on the Monday evening and then just compare everything. But of course, we can, we still do the, we update each other as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I like that. I like well, when Gondor if he returns next week, if he returns, we can bring this proposal to him as well and see what he reckons. But I like the idea, to give a bit of continuity with the save we're doing at the moment.
We could even say, if we're aiming for the Champions League. We'd even say we're not allowed to go into England because we all know how easy it is to build up
the
Premier League team. We could even say we've started in France. You can go anywhere in Europe, but you can't go to the Premier League. So you can go to the Bundesliga, you can go to La Liga, out with Real Madrid and Barca and Atletico.
Yeah.
Go to the Bundesliga, out with Bayern Munich and maybe some other clubs, and
Dortmund and maybe Leipzig or something.
Yeah, I think Dortmund would be an interesting save at the moment where they are in real life, and
true. Yeah.
But yeah, we can have a chat. I think England's a little bit easy.
Yeah, exactly. No, we've all done it. We've all been there. We've all done it. It'd be nice to do some win the Champions League with a more niche team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna wrap things up. I'm glad Football Manager is a thing in our lives right now because it's much better than real life football. It has been this week.
Uh-huh.
No, but fingers crossed. We come back next week and our beloved clubs manage to boost our moods a little bit more, which is more likely with you, mate, than me.
Well, are we kicking it 10 games into the future?
Let's kick it to 10 games.
Yeah.
Let's kick it to 10 games. Why not? Yeah, 5 games just come and go so quickly. So we're going to kick it to 10 games.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, we're going to leave it there. Mayhem, pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for joining.
Yes, mate.
And ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Podcast, we are available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Audible. If you're watching us over on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring that bell for notifications. Until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.